They're three brothers who first started singing on an Alberta farm. Their beautiful sibling harmony and positive message has propelled High Valley to earn several awards. Among them, the GMA Canada Covenant Award for Album of the Year, as well as Country Song of the Year for their hit Back to You. They've been busy, but they're here on our couch, and we welcome you guys to Full Circle.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good to have you. Yeah, three brothers. All right.
You better believe it.
Yeah. Okay.
And you love each other, right?
Yes.
Very much so. Yeah. And
today
no fighting?
Today is not punch a brother in the face.
Okay. Yeah. We're very happy to hear that. Yeah. Okay, Brad, so you're the oldest.
Yes.
And then you've written a lot of the songs.
I sure have.
Okay.
Yes.
And actually, you're the one who named the group. You got to tell us about the early beginnings of High Valley.
Well, the early beginnings are very, very early. Brian was 9 and I was 12 when we first started. And High Valley, I have no idea where that name came from, but other than when I was a child, like really young, I'd record on a tape recorder, like news, weather, sports, introduce a band, sing a song.
You were the band, you were the weatherman, you were the newscaster.
It was super low budget.
Okay.
Yeah. And the band was always called High Valley. So I don't know if I was 5 or 6 or 10 when I came up with that name, but either way, it's still the name.
And it stuck.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, I tried to start a band when I was 9, and we sang in front of people and stuff, and we really never were invited back.
Really?
I just thought,
because you didn't have a name like High Valley.
That's right.
Maybe it's the name. It could possibly be the talent there.
Yeah.
So does this run in the family? Like, do you come from a musical family, or how did you guys?
Yeah, we've actually got 3 older sisters, and they all sing. And we always grew up singing with them in church. Christmas morning was kind of like. It was tradition for our church to have the Rempel family sing a song in
Boney
church.
M.
Yeah.
Boney M.
Mary's Boy Child.
Mary's Boy Child by Boney M.
Yeah, that's a great song.
Well, some of your songs are about, so many of your songs are about family and faith and so where does it mean, how is that as far as being out in the country scene with all kinds of people? How does your faith work out in the scene, in the country scene?
Well, it's been really exciting to see it work because, you know, every different country artist has their own different thing and that they do well, but for us, we always wanted to stay true to what it was that we believed, and we figure if that's what we're going to believe, then when we present a song or a concert, obviously we should present what we believe. And when you go to record labels at first, when we were trying to get the word out on the street about High Valley and said, you know, we want to actually have positive, family-friendly messages, they're like, that's not a problem. Of course not. People want to hear positive stuff. So for us to be kind of that new vocal group that's doing that in country music right now, that's obviously a thrill for us to, you know, be able to present music that people are liking, but also that it's making a difference. And we get comments on Facebook and stuff that actually prove to us that people are really listening to the words, and that's really exciting for us.
And you guys didn't want to be branded like, you know, some groups feel they have to choose, like they're either going to be mainstream or they're going to be Christian, you know, branded that way. But you didn't want to be branded that way, did you? Is that part of your strategy? I mean, I
don't know if you guys felt like we had a strategy in that regard, but
Not really.
We were. We've always made country music. We're from 8 hours north of the nearest airport, for crying out loud. So it's kind of like, of course, it's going to be country flavored.
You got to put this in perspective. Okay, you're from Alberta, a community called Lacrete.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, now, how far north of Calgary is Lacrete?
1,100 kilometers, 11-hour drive.
11-hour drive
and you were
north
telling
of
me
Calgary.
there's an ice bridge into town, so explain that, because a lot of people don't know what winter roads.
Yeah, in the summer there's a ferry, but obviously a ferry can't run on a frozen river, so we just drive over the river.
On the ice.
Yeah.
On the ice?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
It's awesome bringing friends who've never been and they come to visit you, which pretty much never happens, but if it did, you get to drive over the ice bridge and freak them out. It's pretty wild.
But the story of how your family got over there, so you go from extreme cold and ice bridges from Mexico.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an amazing story. All I can say is Mexico, Mennonite, and truck.
that is
Right?
Does that mean we have to fill in the blanks?
Fill in the blanks, because it is
All
a
right.
wild story.
Yeah, our parents were both raised down there, horse and buggy, no electricity, old colony Mennonites, and Grandpa bought a 53 GMC grain truck. It was yellow, and it's still in the family today.
Wow.
And packed up his wife and children, and along with another Mennonite family, there was 20 children, 4 adults, on the box of this grain truck, and they drove all the way up to Leamington, Ontario.
And that's how you got to Canada.
That's how our family did, our dad and our aunts and uncles and grandpa and grandma. And we were all born and raised in La Crete, and all of us were there until about a year ago when I moved to sunny Tennessee, but we're still touring Canada all the time.
So we've got Brad, we've got Brian, and we've got Curtis. Now, Brian, I know you're a dad.
Yes.
In fact, you brought your wife and your baby girl with us today. How is it traveling? Do they travel with you a lot when you go around?
As much as it works and is feasible, we try to bring our families along.
Yeah.
If we're doing like quick little fly dates or something like that, then not so much. But if we're driving, we'll try to pack them in there.
And I love your baby girl's name.
Paisley.
Paisley. Now, does that any relation to opening up for Brad Paisley and thinking, okay, we got to mark this here?
That comes up a lot. No, honestly, I don't even think we thought about it until after. I always said it sounded like a spice, but it's not.
It's
Yeah.
it's a print.
It's a
It's a
print.
pattern.
Nicely done. It is a print.
Which
Well
I think is
educated.
actually
The only unmarried guy on the couch
knows
knows
it's a
that.
print.
Way to go. Now, Brad, you have a wife and a child.
Yeah, Rebecca, and our son is 2 years old, and his name is Drew Jacob. And Drew was named, and this is really shows how much time we spent in a van. We were listening to Taylor Swift in the van.
Teardrops on my guitar.
Teardrops on my guitar, and the opening line says, Drew looked at me, and Curtis said to my wife, you should name your son Drew.
That's just-
And she didn't say, like, okay, we will,
Yeah.
but we talked about it and stuck with it. So thank you,
So
Taylor Swift.
I've
and
named a
Curtis.
child, and I
After
don't
Taylor
have any
Swift's
children.
song.
You're
Nice.
not married, don't have
You
kids.
still almost are a child. No, I'm kidding.
It's true. It's true.
No.